All right, so we're working on the quadratic formula today. We're going to go back into section 6.2, and we're going to do a couple problems together today. Let's go to work. Let's start with number 2. You were asked to do the evens yesterday. What's that? We already did number 2 together? Okay, so let's jump to number 4. Yeah, we can do number 4. It's got a fraction in it. I'm sure everybody loved that one. Before we get into it, who can tell me the quadratic formula? Who wants to lead us? Zyler, lead us all, please.
Negative b plus or minus.
Oh, no. Lead us. Go ahead.
I don't know how to do that. I know the first part.
Go ahead.
Negative b. Plus or minus square root.
Plus or minus square root.
Something.
No. Negative b. Plus or minus square root. B squared minus 4ac. All over 2a. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. Here we go, number 4. So b is right here, c, a. So negative b could also be read opposite of b. Our b is a negative 4, so opposite of that would be 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared. B is 4. B squared would be, negative 4 squared would be 16, minus 4 times ac. Well, what's half of 8? 4. All over 2 times a half. Okay, so 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus 16 all over 2 times a half would be 1, right? So I now have 4 plus or minus the square root of 0 over 1, which is 4 plus or minus 0 over 1, which should be 4. How many solutions do we have? 1. What was the discriminant? 0. And when the discriminant is 0, boom. Cool. How many people got it by a show of hands? Oh, that's not enough. It's not enough. Let's go to number 6. This is the last one I'm going to do of these, and then I'm going to jump to the second page. Okay? Here's what I want you to be able to do for sure. You got to be able to plug this stuff into the quadratic formula. You got to know the quadratic formula. You got to plug it in. Okay? And you got to be able to just simplify the discriminant. Other than that, I can wait on the rest. Okay? But you got to be able to plug it in. You got to be able to simplify the discriminant. So here's what I mean. This is A, B, and C, yes? So negative B would be opposite of negative 6, which would be 6, plus or minus the square root of negative 6. Sorry, let me write bigger. 6 plus or minus the square root of negative 6 squared minus 4 times A, which is negative 5, times C, which is 7, all over 2 times A, which is negative 5. Everybody okay with that plugging it in? Anybody difficulty there? That is really can be difficult for some people. So now let me simplify this discriminant in here. So I have 6 plus or minus the square root. Well, negative 6 squared is 36. Negative 4 times negative 5 is a negative 20. Negative 4 times negative 5 is a positive 20. 20 times 7 would be positive 140. Everybody agree? All over 2 times negative 5, which is a negative 10. Still simplifying that discriminant. 6 plus or minus the square root of 176 over negative 10. Now, I'm telling you, if you can get to there, I'm happy. Got it? You don't have to go any farther for right now. You don't have to worry about simplifying the radical. You don't have to type it into a calculator. If that's not a perfect square under there, stop right there, and I'm happy. Can you handle that? I know that several of you didn't get through this, so I'm going to let you finish it tonight. All right, now I want to go to the second page of your homework, because the second page of your homework is asking something a little bit different. It says, find the x-coordinate of the vertex and determine how many zeros the quadratic will have. Well, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I'll look at number 14. You know, in the quadratic formula, we got negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This thing over here is the discriminant, and it tells us how many zeros we have. But this part over here, we've already used. That is our x value of the vertex, negative b over 2a. We did that in the last chapter, right? So what this second page is asking us is not to use the quadratic formula to find a solution. It's just asking us to find stuff we've already done and then the discriminant. So if I look at number 14, I start with negative b over 2a. Well, b is still 8, so negative b would be a negative 8 over 2a. Well, a is 2, so 2 times 2, so that is negative 8 over 4, which is a negative 2. So the x value is negative 2. And then determine how many zeros. How do I determine how many zeros? By the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac. So here I would have 8 squared minus 4 times 2 times 11. So 8 squared is 64. 4 times 2 is 8 times 11 is 88. 64 minus 88 is a negative 24. Now, I don't really care what the number is. I just care that it's negative. Since it's negative, what will I have? No real solutions. You understand what you're doing on the second half. I'll do one more and I'm done. 16. I got to find two things. I got to find the x value of the vertex. And for that, I'll use negative b over 2a. Let's do that. In this case, b is a negative 2, so negative negative 2, or opposite of negative 2 would be 2 over 2 times a, which in this case is 2. So 2 over 4, which is 1/2. That is my x value, x of vertex. Now, how do I find how many zeros I'm going to have? That's right, the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac. So here that would be negative 2 squared minus 4 times 2 times 5, which is 4 minus 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. 4 minus 40 is negative 36. So no real solutions. Questions, comments, concerns? Okay. Your homework is to finish the evens, which you were supposed to have been working on last night, but I could hear, even at my house late last night, wailing and gnashing of teeth because you guys were so like, hey, don't know what to do. Right? So hopefully that will clarify that and you can get that done properly. Is that fair? Okay. Have that done for tomorrow.